Happy Friday.
Yay. We made it.
We made it. Cheers.
Going.
Cheers. Cheers.
Whoop,
Cheers.
whoop.
Ebony, I'm loving all of the curls.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Is that what the administration is doing to you?
Of course. Of course.
Ludlam got the curls popping.
Yeah. Ludlam got the girls popping.
Ebony, did you hear what Roy said?
What'd he say?
He said that's called an empty nester right there.
Uh-oh. She got time.
Yes.
Right.
Having fun with that as well.
Hello.
Gets home.
That's when you're supposed to put subscribe to OnlyFans at the bottom there.
Make that money, E.
No. I'm gonna leave that one off. Okay. And the
That
empty
girl,
nest.
Catch Me Outside, was invited to Oxford because of her business acumen. No, Dwight? No?
What I'm just saying is, like, you know, if you see
Really quickly.
four horsemen outside, don't be surprised at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Why are you talking about Beyonce's album? What?
Listen, no, I'm talking about this Bad Baddie or whatever her name is. The idea that
Crazy.
like
Crazy, right?
you're Oxford University, like
Right.
the Queen just died. Maybe it was like they caught him at a bad time. You know what I mean? Like they were so overwhelmed with grief that they just pressed send on the wrong email or something.
Right. Anybody can come at this point.
Well, I think it's perspective. What that says is that anything's possible in this world. That's what it says to me.
Yeah.
I'm just
We
saying
learned that with our former president, correct?
James Baldwin and Bad Baddie
I
at
think
the
that's
same.
when we
No,
learned
I
that.
just made that. I
The
can't.
bottom line is just be audacious. Do you? Do you? Do you?
That's all
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
All I'm saying,
they
all I'm
said
saying is, where's my invitation?
exactly. Well, Dwight, I think they're probably waiting for a couple more zeros to get behind that check, because that's the only reason why they're asking her. Because is she like a billionaire?
Who, Bad Baddie?
I thought she was a millionaire.
He's a million.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's a multi-millionaire. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they talked about how much money she made in 1 year on OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't mad at her.
No.
Hey, listen, I've been one. I'm never gonna knock your hustle. If that's what you do, look, do it.
No.
I thought you were saying
Do
you've
it
been
till
one
you
on
satisfied.
OnlyFans. Okay.
Right. I'm just saying. You just said we said click here to subscribe. You got all clammy for a
Because
second.
that's not for me. That's not my hustle. That's
Right.
not my hustle. But if
Right.
it is your hustle, like I said, do it until you're satisfied, baby. Hey.
You could go on there with the cupcakes, Ebony, and show how you put the frosting on.
If Trick can do a show on with his pots, you can do your show.
You want me to be
With your pots.
Right.
the sexy cupcake girl?
There you go. There you go with the curls.
With the curl. With the curl. I think anything is possible. I think
Yeah.
whatever you want. I think it's within reach if you believe it.
Yes.
I don't even know if this Oxford gig was even something that was in the realm of her desire. I
Right.
think it was just a result of her being able to have the success that she did in a way that is unconventional and not necessarily the way that anybody on this panel would go about it.
I just think her manager catfished somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he probably sent like an email talking about like, you know, there's a multimillionaire rapper from the States that would like to come speak. And they were like, Jay-Z? They were like, no, he's a billionaire. They were like, and they went down the list. And it was just like, okay. And it was like, no, it's a female rapper. Be like, oh, you mean like Nicki Minaj? No, not quite. You know, and then boom.
Right.
Well, they got tricked. They was like, you heard what's her name? Meets Me Outside. Oh, Meets Me Outside? Oh, okay.
Let me send you a clip of what made her famous. You know.
Hey, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her, but I just think it's just very, very interesting. I want to see how that conversation goes. Like, what does she say on that platform? Because from what I understand, it was talking about like elevating your influence. How do you capture and keep those who are interested in what you're saying or what you do? Like, you know how life has created these influencers from social media, and they're using her as a success story.
Yeah, I agree. Now, here's the thing. Even if she doesn't speak, they did what they needed to do, right? Because the reality is they got all of our attention.
Yeah.
Right.
No matter what she says, whether she fails and gets up there and fails, if she doesn't speak,
Right.
whoever her publicist is, whoever her manager is, they've done their job. Because we're talking.
She just seems to fit like a University of Phoenix, maybe like a DeVry crowd.
Oh, wow, Dwight.
Wow.
Dwight. That is not right, Dwight.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong. She gets famous on Dr. Phil, and I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, you the bad guy today.
That is hilarious.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
all right.
Two guests that are on the panel today had a nice little time this week. I was trying to say, dog, look at my boy Lateef. Then I said, that's not Lateef.
Look closer.
Why? Look at a little DM accent. So Belinda, tell me about what happened on Wednesday with the South Dade branch for the chamber.
We had an amazing happy hour, an opportunity to network, to laugh, to connect. All of these amazing entrepreneurs and business owners from South Dade came together. We talked about real estate. We talked about fashion businesses. We talked about how to start the process. And we started the conversation about the Comcast ROS grant, which is a very important conversation for our community. Thankfully, Beverly from the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce was there to give us some insight, and Roy was able to share his experience as one of the co-recipients of this grant. So it was an exciting. We were supposed to leave at 8. We left at 9:30, quarter to 10. Roy?
Wow.
And we had to say, people, we're walking out, and they were still talking in the parking lot. It was amazing. Yeah.
That was nice. Nice.
It was nice. It actually, I don't want to say I had expectations, but it turned out better than what I thought it was going to turn out for sure. First of all, we had bad weather. Let's start with this weather.
Pouring down. Yeah,
every day.
Show out. And here's the thing: God showed up and showed out at the end of the day. Like it was the right amount of people at the right time. We had great conversation, and it gave everybody a platform to get up and talk about their businesses, and talked about what they did, but also, what our message, Belinda and I message was, just listen. These are resources and tools for you. Use everybody in this room, and it seemed like everybody had their own story, everybody had their own niche, and everybody got a platform to talk about it. So we had a wonderful time, and Belinda was on.
Belinda was on that night. I was on in the front of the room, but in the back of the room, Roy was doing things.
No, Belinda was slaying for.
Well, let's move on. Hey,
I'm just saying,
Senator, you guys
talk all night long.
On with the NAACP, you had a call to action. Can you share with our viewers and the rest of our cast what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on, but the most recent call to action, of course, is two calls to action, really. One is, of course, we need as many volunteers as possible to get out and register people to vote. We also need, as an organization, the community to invite us into where they are, right? October 11th is the last day you can register to vote in Florida in order to participate in the upcoming election. So whether it's a Pop Warner football game, whether it's a high school class with 18-year-olds, whether it is a college space, whether it is a community event where there are going to be folks who are not registered, please, let us know. And that is, you can reach out to the South Dade NAACP via our website, southdade.naacp.org, or you can email us at info@southdade.naacp.org. would love folks again. We need community to let us know where you are because we can't afford to sit this one out. So if you know somebody who's doing something small, medium, large, and needs somebody to register voters, tap us in. The other thing is, of course, the county budget here in Miami-Dade County is up for final vote, and we want to encourage community to get down to the county hall next Tuesday for that final vote. If you have not had a chance to take a look at the mayor's budget, has a lot of great proposals in there, a lot of great business incubation for those in the business space that's going to impact South Dade. A lot of funding for, more transit or better transit here in the South Dade corridor. So a lot of good things. We actually had Jason Smith, who's a friend of many of us, on our meeting this week to kind of go over some of those key components. But if folks have it in them to go down to the county building on Tuesday the 20th at 5 p.m. and want to give comment, that's the time to do it. After that, don't say I didn't tell you. As they say in the streets, closed mouths don't get fed. So you can't complain about it if you unwilling to engage.
Right. That's good. I think we can stay right there. Did you all see this recent headline about the people from Florida who were flown to Martha's Vineyard? And some say they were surprised that they received such a warm welcome in Martha's Vineyard, giving them food, shelter, and the possibility of having employment to the migrants. And they're linking it to Florida's governor, DeSantis, this move.
Were they flown from Florida or Texas?
Well, it's a mixed bag. So let me tell you a little bit about Peppermint Petty, aka Ron DeSantis.
It was not a good move. They denounced him.
So
they were supposed to go somewhere else as well, anyways. But
so you had two different kinds of things. So both governors are petty. You got Petty Pendergrass, Petty Riley, ultimate two petty cats, right? So the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott,
and we're not talking about Kanye,
right?
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
He's a whole nother thing, right? So Governor Abbott, Governor DeSantis from Florida used our money as taxpayers to fly folks that were being detained here in Florida to Washington, D.C., to Delaware, to Martha's Vineyard, and just kind of had them dropped off. And just so folks can fully appreciate how much money the governor tucked away to do that, he spent about $12 million spending, trying to ship people all across the country. Wow. And the reason I say petty and I bring that up is because in one instance, he had a bus, the governor of Texas had a bus drop the migrants off in front of the vice president's house in D.C., right?
Wow.
The reason he sends the folks to Martha's Vineyard is because that is where the Obamas have a house, in Martha's Vineyard, right? So he's doing it with this intention around all these Democrats, all these liberals, all they want to do. So y'all solve the problem. It backfired on them primarily because the people in Martha's Vineyard, to their credit, were nice. They welcomed them. They fed them. Word is that they will be held at a military installation near Cape Cod in Massachusetts. Now that they're up there, because the states up there have, a more welcoming atmosphere and a greater desire to deal with the issue of immigration than the current governor of Florida. And so we got a problem on our hands, folks. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. There was a statement on one of the Instagram posts that said that they denounced him for doing that. Some of the Hispanic communities denounced him.
They can denounce all they want. I need them to vote different. How about that?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You can denounce them all you want. I need you to not vote for this.
Right. Exactly.
What we see, especially in Florida, I think the Latino or Latina or Hispanic population really, this is an eye opener. And to me, you need to open your eyes. I don't care if you're Puerto Rican, Colombian, Cuban, what. Open your eyes and see what the governor is doing. But I think, you know what, this is disheartening, because the reality is humanity doesn't cost a dime. It's about just humanity.
Yeah,
That was good.
Yeah. You better preach.
I like that.
I'm just saying.
1000%.
It hurts. That stuff hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't nice. But I was sharing this with Latif earlier when I just randomly bumped into him. Not even gonna talk about that, but so
hello.
That's not called a bump. That anytime you run into Latif, that's called an encounter. Okay.
I had an encounter this morning with Latif, and we started talking about this story, and we both were sharing our enlightenment on the fact that our governor is not motivated by race, but that he is motivated by his base. I feel a little Jesse Jackson in me or something.
Come on now.
Oh my goodness. He is not motivated by race. He is motivated by his base. Say it with one time, base.
Base. Miami base.
But I just thought that he didn't like people who did not look like him. And that's not the case. He is just,
Equal opportunity.
yeah. I didn't
Well, no, but I mean, but let's be clear. His base is racist white folks. So,
Yeah.
so there's that part.
Yeah.
After that,
it's all connected.
it's everybody. Everybody can get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wants to be the president in 2024, right?
Oh yeah, he wants to be your president.
But he has to be
No,
I was
sir.
gonna say he has to be
Thank you.
reelected, but he doesn't have to be
Well,
reelected.
let's call it for what it is. Ron DeSantis does a great job of keeping his face in the public eye.
Yes,
Dumb or not dumb.
right. Nationwide.
And nationwide.
Nationwide.
And guess
He
what?
knows exactly what he's doing.
There is him. I think him and Meet Me Outside have the same manager.
Cash me outside.
It's all
Cash
to me.
me
It's all
outside.
to me. But the reality is they do a great job of staying in the public eye.
Right.
And you need to take note of that stuff.
And and as a plug for HBCUs, I just wanted to note that Ron DeSantis went to Harvard. Cash Me Outside is going to be speaking at Oxford in England.
Yeah.
So for all that Ivy League talk, clearly
Oh,
they ain't what they used to be. Is what I'm trying to say.
who can
Friends are
You
not
gotta get your
there.
HBCU education, man.
Right.
Not. And speaking of HBCUs and education,
You said Hampton? What?
thank you, Basil. We're not going to the Bee Island right now. We're not going to the Bee Island. So, Deion Sanders.
over there?
TT, don't give them your story about getting
Ooh,
stung at Hampton.
ooh, it was too much.
Ooh, what? We gotta talk.
Ugh.
Oh,
Put some aloe on that. You gonna be okay.
goodness. Dion.
Yes, Deion. So Deion Sanders, he ripped into HBCUs participating in what he called it a money games. Did you guys get to hear his comments about it? Because Dwight, you know this. What weren't you in on the conversation that my daddy was talking about with FAMU and the money game?
I was, and it's
What's the money?
it's this weird catch-22.
They play the big teams just to get the money.
Oh yeah, so when it, like Bethune and UM.
Yeah,
They're not getting
Yeah.
the high dollars. They're getting the low
Yeah,
dollars.
they get $350,000 or more to show up and catch this kind of beat down, unfortunately. And And it, you know, what he was basically saying, Dion, and I appreciate that, is demoralizing for the players, right? This idea of getting on a plane, getting on the bus, going to a place where you know you about to, you know, meet this level of talent. And if it was one thing, it'd be one thing if they were getting better. You know what I mean? Like if it was a goal to kind of like measure where you were as a program, but what he was referring to was this idea of taking these checks.
Right.
And you know, you got, what was it? Yeah, USC is going to be playing HBCU for the first time out in California, so they're flying. You know, you're getting flued out now.
Flued out.
Flued out.
To get
Flued out.
They say that at FAMU.
to get the breaks beaten off of you.
But I always wanted to know, Dwight, with those matchups, why do you feel that it is such a blowout? Do you think it's the coaching? Do you think, because I mean, you know, the talent, right, looks like us, right?
Right.
Okay. The talent looks like us.
Southridge versus Home
on their side. The talent looks like us, right?
Right. It is black on black.
We are us coming from the HBCU. So I could never really
Northwestern versus Killian. I'm trying to help
Ebony,
you.
it's not even a fair fight.
Is it the I mean, it's
the caliber of player.
It's
the caliber of player, right? So
talent.
High school players.
It's like a high school playing a Pop Warner.
Exactly.
But it's Northwestern playing Rickard Park. That's that we on the black and the black.
No, but I think what Ebony's
right.
Ebony's asking is
we're all collegiate.
Yeah.
We're all, you know, in the same age range. We all,
and so it's like anything in life, Ebony. You know, like let me break it down for you, right? Like LeBron played on a high school team at one point.
Right.
There were 15 guys on that team.
Right.
So when someone sees LeBron goes to the NBA. So the rest of the colleges are like, well, who else is on that team that's getting closer to that caliber, right? But by the mere fact that LeBron played on that team, the 15th man who only scored a point could potentially still get a scholarship somewhere, right? And he ends up at a school, black, a basketball player, but clearly not of the same caliber as LeBron James, right?
Right.
And so, unfortunately, that has been the challenge with HBCUs, is that rather than being able to get the 5-star player, they're ending up with, the player who's not as talented, quote unquote. Now, yes, they can be coached up, they can be that, but at the end of the day, somebody who runs a 4.2, somebody who bench presses 300 pounds, somebody who's a, 4.4 running linebacker, they're just not going to HBCUs like they used to. Now, don't get it twisted. When black folks couldn't go to predominantly white schools, it was a different animal. Like UM got beat by FAMU back in the late 70s.
Can I show her one thing, sir?
Yeah.
Do you see, and this is not a dig at you, Senator, do you see how bad Jackson beat FAMU?
Yes.
No, I'm talking to Ebony. Oh, right.
Sorry.
Yeah. You see how bad Jackson beat FAMU? Oh, she's frozen.
She's frozen.
I was getting ready to like that we could change the topic. I thought the next topic was frozen, but that's not. It's the Little Mermaid. Go ahead. Oh, she's back. She's back. Okay, you're here. Did you see the point differentiation between?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
what was the score?
When we were able to meet the two teams at the players' dinner that we did for the Orange Blossom Classic, the size of the players were drastically different. And it's because if you think of a Travis Hunter, am I getting his name correctly?
Yeah.
Top recruit. He went to Jackson.
Right.
Dion. So Dion's capability to overtake anyone in the SWAC, the MEAC, or even possibly some D1 school is very important because he has the cream of the crop at this point. So to Dwight's point, those players who are the best players are choosing to go to schools that unfortunately aren't HBCUs, but that is slowly changing now in the current environment that we have post George Floyd, post all of the movements that have happened.
Yeah.
So
and to that end, that's what Dion's talking about as well, is like it's killing the recruitment. Like if you go to a game, get blown out, you know, now you're hurting my recruitment too, right? Because they looking at me like, oh, you at HBCU too. I just saw, the way UM did Bethune. I just saw the way this school did this other school. I don't know if I really want to rock with HBCU like that and just be out here.
Right.
Well, here's the other thing that he addressed. I mean, Dwight, you talked a little bit about the money. These HBCUs are taking less than $250 to play them games. It costs you that just to make the trip, right? Then when you get the money doesn't go to the football team, it goes to the whole university.
Right.
Other thing is, you're gonna lose 3 to 5 players because of injury, because it's me going against Miles, which is not a fair fight. As much as I love Miles, right?
Wow.
Well, listen, I'm talking about there's such a size differential when it happens. Like Jackson State linemen, when they rolled up, they were 6'6", 6'7", 280, 300 pounds. You got a lineman who's 6'1", 210 pounds. It's just not a fair fight. So what happens is you not only lose players, you lose respect, and then you're supposed to come back the next week and recoup that.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about a moral loss. You're talking about finance. There's no financial gain in it. So Dion's like, hey guys, why keep taking these games? I think the thing that I really wanted to address about it too is we're in such a time now when HBCUs or the NEAC, SWAC should only play each other. Those are the games that you want to watch because you're going to get those games. You're going to make your money on television. That's you're going to make your money. So why would I go watch USC play Bethune-Cookman? Because I don't even want to watch that game. Matter of fact, you're not going to even have viewers. You're going to lose money on those games. Nobody wants to see a blowout. So why don't you just have those teams play one another, have it viewed? ESPN is getting all the games now, and you win at the end of the day. And build your program up. Then you can go out after all these bigger players and better players. But there's such a difference. There's a huge difference in just the size, the talent, some coaching too. Let's call it coaching, recruiting budget, facilities, the whole nine. So that's what the difference is.
But times they are changing. So shout out.
They're changing at Jackson State. A lot of these other schools, it's not happening.
Well, no, I mean we talk about the trickle down, but it's like you got real NFL coaching coming to these spaces. The Hugh Jacksons, the Bubba McDowell of Prairie View. You got Eddie George now at Tennessee State. So you just got to, you got to give it the time that it deserves in order to get where you need to get.
And the sad part about it is when you think about the Hugh Jacksons, some of these guys, the NFL didn't even want these guys. They didn't even want these guys. So guess what players and coaches are doing now? Hey, guess what? I'm going to give back. I'm going to give back to my own people. I'm going to give everything that I have in my tank and we're going to win.
Right.
Exactly
I love that.
And you're going to watch us win.
I love that. And what you didn't mention also, Roy, is the difference in the amount of money that HBCUs receive versus the amount of money that majority schools receive to play each other. What is the difference?
A huge difference.
It's crazy.
Listen, here's the difference. So a USC could play a small or mid-major school. That mid-major is going to get $1.5 million to play that game. And the HBCU is going to accept $250,000 to get beat down. And it's not going to go to your whole program.
Like, just to give you an example, the split for the Orange Bowl game, regardless of who is playing, both of those teams are splitting $8 to $10 million to play in that game.
Do you think that the coaching staff at HBCUs, whomever is making the decision, because it's not the head coach, is it? I don't know if it's the president or I don't know who's making it. Do you think that they are aware of their value? Meaning, do they know how much these type of games typically would cost if they were not an HBCU?
I don't think so, but
I don't think they have a full appreciation of it at this point.
I don't.
Like, And I was just simply saying, like, at one point, the highest attended games in the country were our classics.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like 50 years ago. I'm talking about like the 90s, early 2000s, Circle City Classic, Magic City Classic,
You.
Superdome being packed out, Orlando being packed out. And so we really need to that end, Jessica, like it takes and I'm not trying to just gas y'all up, but it takes really like a hip rock star to help market and let folks know that this is a real possibility, because I don't think they see it.
That's
right? I don't think they have the vision.
We need the article. What is
ourselves. We need to make our own little championship thingy-mabobbing with all the different little MEACs and SWACs and whatever, all the different teams. We need to play ourselves and have our own little bowl games within our own little whatever. They have us for championships, but they don't have us down to play bowl games with the larger schools. Okay, great. That's where Celebration Bowl came from.
Right.
That MEAC plays in against the SWAC. Because of that, that's how that whole thing came about. I think that needs to be a little bit more. They need to do a little bit more with that, and little games to lead up to that game.
Yeah, here's what happens. I really believe, when I look at the grand scheme of this HBCUs, how many HBCUs we know that are state funded, that are on the bubble, that are barely making money. You always hear about some students can't get in their dorms every time they might register and be ready to go to school, can't get a dorm room. There's always something, right? And so I think you have to start saying no. You have to, no different than Jackson State, say, you know what, let's just go after Prime and see what happens. You have to try to take a chance. Now, I'll give a guy like a Byron Allen credit. He bought HBCU or partnered with HBCU Go, where they're going to have games on ABC, NBC.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to go and show up and show out. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But you can't keep taking those kind of games and taking those beatings. What happens is, as a recruit, if I'm talented, I'm looking at that game, I'm going, ain't no way I'm going to HBCU and y'all lose. There's no way.
Mm-hmm. Right. We're running out of time. Look, rest in power to
Jesse Powell.
I hadn't seen him or heard him in so long. I had to pull up his music. I know I can't stop singing. The way,
baby, it's you,
lady. Sing it.
Church Ebony. Take them to church.
Just about close out proms in 94, 95, and 96.
To the church. Taking the church.
But y'all know he was only 51 years old.
51.
I know.
Did he ever say what it was that he passed away? Like
he was sick?
Not they haven't said it yet, but they
the
did.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dwight.
Not good.
I thought you said the family said, yeah, he was sick.
Yeah, that's what I said. And
okay. That's what I was asking.
No, I just said the family said he was sick and that he passed away in peace. They didn't say what.
I don't know what he said, but all I heard was
Nah, go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
Was that the only song he had though?
No, he had a lot of music. One minute back. He had a lot of music, but only song that you know of is
that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can go ahead now. So
going back to this.
Well, we were talking about reasons why people passed away. So I know that's why Basil brought this up. The autopsy did come back for Kevin Samuels, and it was hypertension.
Oh, Lord, not, and he was on there selling people out like that. He need to go to.
I mean, I can't.
I mean, clearly
I can't.
Low value people were stressing him out.
No, clearly you wasn't doing what you were supposed to be doing. You need
for your own self. Like the song says, sweep around your own front door.
People, go ahead. That's Ebony. Sweep in front door.
Before you try to sweep around mine. And obviously you ain't doing enough sweeping, sir.
Yeah.
Y'all are fearless. I'm gonna stay away from y'all.
Don't do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay away from y'all.
Yeah,
That man was
Say-
bothered by less value people.
Chose to be bothered by lesser valued people. That was his choosing. It was not a part of his daily life until he made
Wasn't
it.
he a psychologist?
Huh?
I
That
thought he was.
man was a psychologist. He was just somebody that people like to listen to.
I don't know
No,
why.
Not a psychologist at
I
all.
don't know
Was he a
why.
life coach?
Just a man with a
Life?
life.
Whose life?
You know, he was really a life coach.
I'm not
He
gonna
was a
keep
man
talking about
with a
my fat brother
microphone.
like this.
He was just somebody that people listen to. He was not.
Anything.
And I don't even know why they were listening. I mean, I'm
Well, I
still.
listened to him and I thought that he was very spot on with a lot of the stuff that he
But
said.
he wasn't spot on at doctor.
I thought that he was very spot on.
He,
I thought it spoke to a lot of times when men and women were really overachieving. I mean, that's my opinion.
well, he didn't overachieve by the health. Let's Haley.
All right,
Yes,
so
please.
Yeah, he
Keep
missed
it
the
moving.
mark.
Little Mermaid, Disney released the trailer, and
Ooh,
yes,
let's say Halle Berry.
Halle Bailey is the Little Mermaid, and then when it was coming out that Halle Bailey was the character of Ariel, which there's a debate going on whether it's Ariel or Ariel.
Ariel.
It's Ariel in our world.
It is
So-
Ariel in Black
so-
Sheep.
Ariel.
Yeah.
The
Ariel.
which one is it for us, Belinda?
Ariel.
Ariel.
no.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this the right way.
Okay.
One Twitter user said, "Why is Halle Berry playing Ariel? Halle is 56 years old and isn't the Little Mermaid a young girl in the story?" And the next one said, "Isn't Halle Berry a little too old to be the Little Mermaid?" Halle Berry done had to come on Twitter and reply back. She said, "Wrong, Halle. I can't wait to see her though." I thought that was kind of classy.
I think so
Yes.
too.
That was kind of
Absolutely.
classy. And then
Do
Halle
your
came
homework.
back and was like, "Your approval means everything." That was cute how it turned out.
Mhm.
I love it.
We
I love it.
ain't never satisfied. We always jump to conclusions.
Well, we don't know if it's us.
But that was us. Everybody is so turned.
We know who we are.
Lives are
We
so
know
upset about her being black, being little.
and
But
how
I love the social media post that I saw that said all of the Africans in the ocean. I don't know why y'all thought
You see it? I posted. I
I'm black. I said, yes, this is why I love my people. I
want to read.
love y'all.
They have 2 books.
Y'all better tell them.
I want to see. I want to read them.
Yes, and then they popped up all those books. Yes, I said, you see,
I don't want to read it.
unless we send for you.
Y'all on today.
I know.
I don't know what
I was
you
getting ready
see
to say
they be
we're
doing
gonna
today.
see them together later on tonight, but no, we're not ever got another.
Right.
I will not be able to take them together tonight. It will
Are we gonna have a private screening for that too?
be
I
way
don't know
too
what
much.
y'all doing, but I don't
Why
want to
not?
be around y'all.
Look,
Shut up.
but I'm gonna tell you, in Atlanta, they would talk about the fact that there was a city that was what do you call it when a city is
You talking about the lake?
filled with water?
You talking about the lake that
Oh, the lake.
that,
The
that
lake.
Lake Lanier?
Lake Lanier, yeah.
Lake Lanier. Lake
Wait,
Lanier.
now what we not gonna do? I'm not finished. Can I speak?
That's
Yeah.
how Roy was with that
Yeah.
thing the other night.
Ooh, Belinda.
See?
Belinda.
That's how he
Oh,
was.
this is called submerged. The powers that be submerged a black city,
Right.
and it is now called Lake Lanier.
Right.
And people who go there have been a number of times when people have become missing. And the what are the tales called? Like when it's like the word on the street, like the tale.
Folk.
Folk tale
Folk
Mhm.
in Atlanta is that it's the spirits.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the ancestors. Don't do it.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
To
I'm always amazed
add
that
to your
people go out
story, Jessica, you know, that's where one of Usher's sons.
Yeah.
I know.
Passed away.
About
Yeah.
that. Remember
But
that?
when I was in Atlanta recently, I don't even know how it came up, but that came up. And one of the young ladies that I was speaking to, she was like, that's why she was like, she was like, I'll ride by, but she was like, I'm not going out there.
I don't understand why people go out there.
Yeah.
I heard Tupac's ashes were there too.
Boy, get off, get away. Click him off right now. Click him off.
No, I'm just adding Miles Well.
How was that funny, boy? How was that funny?
I forgot, Belinda. I mean, might as well add to the fairy tale and folk tale.
Not a legend, an icon.
There are a lot of black towns like that across the country.
Yeah.
Man-made lakes are.
They said
urged former black and thriving towns that, you know, the other persuasion was basically jealous and didn't want to see, so that's how they did away with them.
And it's not just lakes. Shout out to Central Park.
Central Park was another place as well.
To jump into the conversation.
Central Park also, right, Dwight?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's what he just said. Yeah.
Seneca Falls.
Yep.
Rest in peace to the ancestors. Yeah.
That's what
happened.
Speaking of folk tales and things that they want you to believe. Go ahead, Battle.
Oh yeah, this is just a mess.
Ray J said, "Stop trying to drag me, okay? Because y'all knew exactly what y'all was doing."
Ray J said, "I got more tapes. I got more tapes."
Ray J said, "I got receipts."
Ray J said, "I'm in the back at Carlos selling these DVDs. If you need them."
You did not.
At Carlos.
Here's the part that we also we're kind of overlooking. Ray J has the same manager as Ron DeSantis.
and the girl used to be
Tell me, Ray.
My question is,
a way to stay relevant.
Who, Ray J?
Yeah.
Yes.
My question is, how do you, as a parent, watch your child
But she's playing part two,
aged in?
And then made the comment talking like, "No, I like her better in part one."
Ebony, Ebony. I'm gonna say one word, Caitlyn.
Huh?
Caitlyn.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
Dwight, you've been doing stuff for a very long time, and you knew it. You want to know why? There's your answer.
You think she knew that?
Yes. How could she not?
Right.
I don't think that was hidden. I think that was something that he did, and he was like, "I'm tired of just having it in the house."
Right.
Just
Right.
mark 2 important dates on your calendar because that's going to be the official dates of the end of the world. One is when Kim Kardashian graduates from law school. The second will be if or when she passes the bar. And at that point, I just want you to get your life in order when those two things happen. Like, her graduation is for you to get your life in order, take the vacations you want to take, you know, see the things you want to see.
Because the time is near, huh, Dwight? It's getting close, huh?
When she passed that bar, it's tap out. We Game over.
Graduation will be bigger than the Queen.
Right.
The shoulder tap took me out.
Graduation is going to be bigger than the Queen ceremony. Mark my word. Mark my word.
Say that again, Roy.
I said her graduation will be bigger than the Queen ceremony.
That thing gonna be huge.
I don't know. David Beckham was in line for 12 hours, so unless David Beckham will be in line for 12 hours to go to her graduation, I don't know if it could be that big.
Funny.
That influence.
You know, remember when there was like this thing about like the countries, the imperialist countries, like returning stuff. Like, yeah. I wonder if they could, you know, go through her collection and return all the stuff
that she ain't had.
Why would they do that?
Dwight, help us with colonialism. You weren't here last week, and
Colonizers. That was funny. I just watched Black Panther. It made me laugh. I watched it last night. She was like, colonizer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched it too.
So at one point, the British Empire, the saying around the British Empire was that the sun never set on the British Empire. That means that they had controlled so much land and it was so vast that at no point there was always daylight on some territory that was theirs. But this is how diabolical the British Empire is that not only, colonialism as it, is akin to slavery, right? So you are taking control of a country, taking control of that country's resources, taking control of that country's people for the sole purpose of them generating wealth for your country.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that is, in essence, colonialism. So you take control of India, you take control of Jamaica, you take control of the Bahamas, you take control, so the crown, specifically her relatives, have been the people who initiated slavery for Great Britain, profited from that, profited from the boats, profited from the extraction of people from the continent of Africa, and at no point have they ever apologized for it. The thing that makes it even more dangerous is they've granted independence to these countries, but those countries are still economically dependent on Great Britain. So even though you have independence, you're basically only trading or only allowed to trade
with them,
with one country. And so they've created what is known as the Commonwealth of Great Britain, which is basically every country that they used to control exclusively, they now have under this like umbrella of trade partners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just sad. And I think Dwight, one of the things that bothers me the most is the fact that like you see the effects, right, in these islands and with the people, because their mentalities are so connected to that, and it's like, it's frustrating because I see it with some of my relatives, especially like, the older generation or what have you. And it's just sad. It's like, listen, like, this is not a good thing. Like, I need you to understand this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That this is not a good thing. And that everything that's connected to this regime is not good. It's like they're scared to speak against it. They, all of that. And it's very frustrating.
It's frustrating because it's all they've known. You know what I mean? And that's the challenging part is like, you had to learn God Save the Queen or God Save the King, depending on who was in power. Whenever they visited places like the Bahamas or Jamaica, school was canceled. You had to put flowers and whole spectacle, and and imagine like that is generational,
right?
Yeah.
Like from slavery to that,
right,
is all people have known, right? So it's it can be scary, like the idea of what does something different look like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna say this again. I said this earlier. Humanity doesn't cost a dime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only challenge with this one, Roy, is when you're an inhumane person.
No, I get
it's a reflection of, do you know what humanity looks like?
Saying, I mean, from if we look at it, and if I just don't understand, maybe I'm delusional, maybe I'm just hopeful, maybe I just want to live life, but the reality is that you've been a slave your whole life and don't even know it.
Right. That's my point.
You don't even know it. So
that's my point.
And
exactly.
You got this family that controls all. Listen, they control a lot of stuff in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the hotels and all of the things they control.
Oh yeah, no. They said her estimated land and building assets are $28 billion.
And guess what she left with, Dwight?
What?
Not a damn thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, except that passes on to her family.
Hey, boy, it does. No, I get it. But man, I just sometimes the heart in me, the intention, and the hope in me is just like, I mean, why are we still talking about the same stuff? Why are we having conversations about Ron DeSantis and people being caged up, or people at the border can't get across the border, or why are we talking about the colonization?
Getting ready to run for
I'm so
office.
sick of this narrative and it's black or white, and the media comes in, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
I agree, but I would also say this though.
Roy for president. Roy for president.
But the challenge that we oftentimes face, Roy, is that people who have been inherently inhumane for a long time start to believe
it's normal.
in the fallacy of their humanity. So it's like what Malcolm X says, right? If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and you pull it out 6, don't call that progress. And that's the problem, is that for the oppressor, it's like, oh, look, but I did pull it out 5 inches. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So you can't be mad because I don't have the knife in you as deep as I once did.
Right.
You know, and so that
I get it.
You know, we gotta break that cycle too.
Maybe I've just had an awakening and I'm on one.
He just hanging out with those HBCUs.
You know what I'm saying?
Change your life. It'll change your life.
One thing I see.
I grew up in a military environment.
Which reminds me, did anybody see the prayer at the game for the AKAs in the room at the honor blossom?
No.
The opening prayer. So at the end of it, the pastor from Miami Gardens, he said, and this was the last thing that had me dying. He was like, and I want to take a moment to thank God for placing an AKA in the White House and an AKA in my house. That's literally how he feels.
Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
That's a good one.
That's how Roy feels. Roy feels the same way.
Roy's espousing that right now.
That's hilarious.
Man.
Amen.
Roy, you like that, don't you?
That is funny.
No.
Roy, you are covered with AKAs.
With the AK in the White House, that's a whole other conversation.
What did Joe Biden do when he was vice president?
No, listen, him too. I ain't excluding him.
But I'm trying to ask, I want to know, what is the vice president's role for somebody to be so upset with her?
What else do you want her to do?
You cannot live the life and cannot relate to neither one of y'all on this panel. Let's call it for what it is.
The vice president?
Yes.
She went to Hampton. I mean,
definitely can relate.
In your life, you got 4 years in your life. You went to Hampton and played AKA.
She went to Howard.
Right. She went to Howard. But she went to an HBCU.
I mean, if she got pulled over by the police, they'll say she's a black woman.
100%,
she had the same experience.
She's got a line full of sisters.
I thought Miles was not on here today.
Across the board.
I thought Miles was not available. Oh, and here goes Basil pulling this one up. Okay. All right. Did you guys
This is a bad picture.
Did you guys see Harry and William? Harry and William were reunited.
It feels so good.
Right. You took the
reunited. Love so bad.
Harry want to throw them things.
Harry and Meghan were the only ones holding hands.
Really?
Yeah. William and his wife was walking in front of him.
You know what? I got a little caramel in this system. You don't know what to do.
Listen, Dwight, I'm gonna say this. Them little kids about to be queens and princesses and everything else. Why? I think that's going to be the ironic part of it all.
Yeah, you know, everyone's title got shifted when the queen passed away. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's a fly in the buttermilk.
Did you all see this shooting in LA?
PNB.
I heard about it. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Right.
I didn't see the video. People just, speaking of inhumanity, the idea that people making videos like that go viral is crazy.
Yeah.
Did you all see?
Sorry, that's me. Sorry, go back.
But here's the thing. I think the thing that we haven't addressed. I mean, we see these shootings that are happening to rappers, and it ain't like these rappers are walking around being gangsters. And then when you really dig deep and start figuring out what labels they're on, these labels is several labels that have had several rappers be shot and killed, and you know they got them on an insurance policy.
Yeah, these
it's rude.
I feel like it's a conspiracy.
100%.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that they have them on insurance policies.
Yeah, they were talking about it on the radio the other day.
Oh yeah.
But you have to think about the investment that they're making into their livelihood. It's
But
all
too many of they dropping like flies though.
Yeah, they said we lost one every year since
Yeah, like they
since
dropping.
Nipsey.
And it was one dude. Who was the dude? It's like one producer dude. It was like 3 or 4. He was the same one. I
Oh
think
yeah,
who
the
had
same.
Triple
Oh
X.
yeah.
Like 2 or 3 of his people within a few months.
That's not a
Really?
Yes.
I think the thing is
It's
that
bad, man. It's really bad. Like
when you really look at it and look at the landscape of this, you have certain artists that are going to be around, like the Ushers, and not that he's a rapper, but you have certain artists that are stable. They're going to be there for years, and then what you do is you recycle all the new rappers. You can always replace a new rapper.
Exactly.
And that's how they really look at it.
Exactly. And then you can get them to go speak at Oxford.
That's me outside.
What the heck? What is she going to talk about?
right.
How to get cash outside. I just told
Get
you.
away.
Oh, Abbott Elementary.
Yeah.
Yay.
They're mad at him about this.
Yeah, he just apologized last night.
Good.
But I didn't see what happened. What did he played like he was dead?
Yeah, while she was
Drunk
giving
or
her
passed out. Drunk or passed out.
He knew what he was doing.
Why?
Yeah,
Like, what was the reason?
He thought it would be funny.
It was an extension of another skit, and he thought it would be funny,
Yeah.
and it was not.
Maybe she might be the Taylor Swift.
Oh dear.
Well, you know, every now and again it comes up that way where someone is granted, like Chris, what is his name? Rock? Yeah. Yeah, this public thing that happens and then your career skyrockets after that. Yeah. I thought it was disrespectful too.
Yeah,
I thought
I
it was.
agree.
But she went on to his show and did what I didn't know was that he used to work for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a relationship and they were about to get married. And what happened was
Girl, what the hell? So, excuse me. I was like, what?
Hold on.
You went all the way left with that. Like what?
She went down a rabbit hole. I was like, huh?
Where you get your news from? What?
that was in my ear. He was like, let's see if they're paying attention, Jessica.
Period.
I love it.
Yo, Basil, don't test us. We got it.
Right.
I love it.
Basil got to be better than that.
That was funny. I'm like, a relationship and they almost got married? Like, what is that?
Unbelievable. That's the crazy part.
Look, I was like, am I wrong to act as if I'm surprised about this? Am I
Right.
Well, you know, we're gonna catch you guys next week. We're getting ready to go to this screening of The Woman King. We'll check it out and let you guys know what happens. What?
Is it Viola Davis?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Viola. I used to go to church with her, by the way.
Viola Davis.
What church
in
was
LA,
it?
in LA. Don't ask me.
You don't know the name of your church?
I was in church Viola Davis. That's all I know.
Wow.
Peace.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Nice.